What is up, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to wheelie and start to learn how to combo. So let's just get into this video. And my triple cup, that's 2 times 2. Man, this shit dogging in the war time. And also, you guys can probably notice that my bike looks a lot different than it has in my past couple of videos. Let me know what you guys think of this new look. I personally really like it. All right, so right now we're just going to head to the lot that I practice in, just so I can have a good space to like show you guys how to do stuff where I'm not running into cars all the time. All right, we at the lot. I'm just gonna throw up on screen just like some of my clips. All right, yeah, another tip, you might want to do this, you might not. Personally, what I do is I reset my front brake pads because I have that Stark brake and it's very strong. So I go down here and I just push my front caliper because it's a moto caliper, and then I just like line up the pads so my front wheel spins for way longer, because with the Stark brake, it stops in like about 5 seconds, which is terrible. So yeah, one of my friends taught me that trick. All right, so now let's get into like the very basics of how to wheelie. And if you already know how to wheelie, you could just skip to this timestamp. I'll put it right here, and that's where I'll switch to like how to like start learning combos and stuff. So yeah, first off, how to wheelie. All right, so when you're getting started, first things first, you want to be very comfortable on your bike. Like, you got to know how the throttle feels, you got to know how your brakes feel. You should know how to ride before you start wheeling. You can't just get your first bike ever and think you're gonna wheelie it in 10 minutes, right? I mean, it's just unrealistic. It took me about a month to learn how to wheelie a pedal bike, and that was a month of grinding every single day until I finally could wheelie. And then honestly, whenever I learned to wheelie a pedal bike, switching to an e-bike is very easy. It's like the exact same concept. But yeah, so first off, what you're gonna wanna learn is you're gonna wanna learn your brake control. So what I mean by this is you're gonna wanna learn how to, like, when you pop it up like this, you're gonna wanna learn how to tap your brake to bring it down like I just did right there. So I wanna set up like a first, like sort of like a drill for you guys for learning how to wheelie. So first off, what I would want you guys to do is put your feet down on the ground so they just drag like this. Wanna get ready to pull in your brake. You're gonna pop it up and then tap your brake, and then tap your brake again, and then tap your brake again. So it might not look as good like that the first time, but basically what you're doing is you're dragging your feet so you can coast with the bike forwards and use your feet as like a emergency brake almost, and then just starting to learn the feeling of tapping the brake when you're like getting ready to go too far back in a wheelie, right? So you don't want to loop out, so you use your brake to stop you. So yeah, your feet are almost as like an emergency brake. That's what I would do. That's what I'd practice that for at least a couple hours. It's gonna feel very boring and very slow at first, and you're not gonna feel like you're making any progress at all, but it's only just a matter of time. You just literally, all learning wheelies is just seat time on the bike. You just gotta practice for fucking hours. So yeah, and then once you've moved on from doing 2 feet, what I would do is I would just plant 1 foot on the ground, pop it up, and then just do the same thing again. Pop it up, and then this is where you kind of get into like your circle wheelies and stuff, when you have 1 foot planted, and then you're just kind of coasting on the brake. So yeah, hopefully this GoPro is staying steady. It feels like it's moving on my head a lot. Then after you kind of have those 2 first steps mastered, and what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna get going pretty slow. I get going around 7 to 10 miles an hour, right? And then you're gonna wanna just give it full throttle, pop it up, and then just tap your brake, and then just keep going along, just tapping your brake, and just get used to that feeling, right? Well, honestly, what I did there, that was a wheelie, right? So for you, it might look a little something more like this if you don't know how to wheelie. You're gonna bring it up, and then you're just gonna slam on your brakes, and it's gonna bring you down. That's absolutely perfect. That's exactly what you want, because what you just did there is you didn't panic and let yourself loop out. You hit your brakes and it brought your front end down. So then eventually you just keep doing that. You just pop it up, tap your brake down, and then eventually you will stop hitting the brake as hard. So instead of bringing you all the way down, it just brings you down a little bit, and then you just give it more throttle, and then just keep doing that. Like, it's just all wheeling is just a balance between your brake and your throttle. That's all there is to it. It's just two things, your brake and your throttle. So yeah, all right. Now that we've gone through the actual, like, the wheelie specific tutorial, like how to wheelie, now I want to go into learning like combos and like just like this is not gonna be a combo, it's just gonna be like a starter trick. So the first trick that you're gonna want to learn, in my opinion, when you're learning to wheelie, is a knee knock. So that's where you just have your foot on this your knee on the seat like this, and then you're in a wheelie, so like that, right? This is what I would learn next, a knee wheelie or a knee knock, right? So what you're gonna want to do to learn, this is how I learned, I remember it very specifically. What you're gonna want to do is you're gonna put your knee in the middle of the seat, and you're gonna have all of your weight on your knee. Don't have any weight on your foot when you're first learning. So I have no weight on my foot right now, all of it's on my knee, and that's the only way you're gonna learn to like keep your bike straight in a wheelie. Like right now I'm turning my bike because I'm applying pressure to my peg, and basically what that's doing is it's just curving me in the wheelie, right? Because I want to turn around. But what you're gonna want to do is just have all your weight on your knee that's on the seat, and that'll keep you going straight. It's gonna feel very weird at first. I remember I would try and keep all my weight on my foot and a very little amount of weight on my seat, and I would just keep falling to the side. I could never keep my front wheel up straight. So yeah, keep all your weight in your knee, and that's pretty much all there is to it. It's just a bunch of practice. All right, then the next trick, I would learn a knee knock to a side saddle. It's like the very first like beginner combo that everyone really learns. So basically how you do that is you pop it up into a knee knock. So you have your knee on the seat, pop it up, then you get your right leg or left leg, it depends which knee you put on your seat, put it over the other side to the other peg, and then fall into a side saddle like this. And the side saddle is basically where you're like hanging off one side of the bike. Basically how you're gonna wanna learn that is once you get a knee knock, you'll learn that when you have your knee on the seat, you can just do whatever you want with your other leg and you'll still be able to keep it up on a wheelie. So doing this part is very easy. It's the falling down here and trying to keep the wheel up that a lot of people struggle with. So what I recommend doing for that is, all right, so look, you're in a knee wheelie, you put your foot to the other peg, and then you transfer your weight from the knee that's on the seat to the peg, and then just fall on the seat and get all your weight off the foot. You don't want to have any weight on your foot when you're in the side saddle. All your weight is just under your butt, right? You're just gonna want to be sitting on all your weight. So the seat's taking all the weight, not your peg, because again, just like in the knee knock, that just throws you to the side, which you don't want. All right, so then the next trick I'd probably learn is a one-hander now. So how you're gonna want to do that is, it might be a little bit different on an LBX or a Talaria, but it's a very similar concept. So I have a shift block down there. It's this thing right here. I put my foot in front of my peg and under my shift lock, and I kind of like pull up with that. If you don't have a shift lock, what I would do is I'd recommend putting one foot in front of a peg and one foot under the other peg, and just kind of like squeezing to the seat like that, right? I'm just gonna use this as an example, the one with the shift lock, but I'll show you with the other example if you don't have a shift lock either. So yeah, we're gonna pop it up, put your leg underneath your shift lock, and then start coasting on your brake. You want to very like lightly coast on your brake, and then just take your hand off. Obviously, your first time's not going to look nearly as good as that, like at all. It took me a couple weeks of practice to get my first one-hander down. Now I'm going to show you the other way to do it without a shift lock. I'm going to pop it up. I have my left foot in front of my peg and my right foot under my peg, and I just take my hand off. All it is you're really just like using the pressure from your feet on the pegs to lock you to the seat so you can take the weight off your hand. You gotta remember just to like barely feather your brake. If you hit your brake too hard and panic, you're just gonna slam forward. Another thing I would recommend is when you're first trying, you don't wanna just take your hand off all the way first. At first, what I would do, I'd pop it up, and then I would slowly just take the weight off of my right hand. So it feels like your right hand's just barely like floating on your bars, right? So like it feels like there's just nothing there, and then you can just take it off, and then there you go. Next trick I'm gonna teach is seat standers. Seat standers aren't hard at all. I'd say the easiest way to start getting comfortable with it is starting in a knee knock, then going to a seat stander. So you pop it up, and then honestly, you can just stand up on your seat like this. It's not very hard. All right, so now if you can do all those tricks, I'd say you're ready to move on to like the main like surron kit combo, just like a switchover, which is basically just like this. I might have to look down for this so you can see, but just like this. Just like that. Like, you don't have to do the first 2 knee bounces that I did. So first, what I would do is I'd learn just how to hop from knee to knee like this in a wheelie. Once you can comfortably hop from knee to knee in a wheelie, you can start learning the switchover part. And also for all these combos, I'd recommend getting comfortable just like doing them while you're not in a wheelie. It helps a lot with like confidence when you're learning to just send these tricks. And a lot of these tricks you do kind of just have to send. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so the next trick that I'm gonna teach you is to go from sitting to jumping into side saddle like that. So you don't have to do it with your knee on the seat first. So yeah, that one's also very simple. All it is you pop it up and then you just have all your weight on your feet and then just literally just jump and put your right leg or left leg over the seat and then just drag your other foot. As soon as you can already just do the side saddle wheelie, it isn't much harder just to add the jump into the side saddle. The next trick I want to go over is the switchover, but instead of going from a switchover to a knee, you're gonna go from a switchover to a seat stander. Yeah, I mean, all the seat stander is just that, and then that. The next trick you're gonna wanna learn is a knee knock foot drag. This one's honestly really easy. You can probably do it before a lot of these tricks. All it is just you go into a knee knock, right? Pop it up, and then you just drag your foot on the ground, or just like a little tap works too. So you're just here, and then you just tap your foot on the ground. And that trick can be implemented into a lot of other different tricks. My favorite one to do from that trick is a knee knock foot scrape into a crisscross. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how that looks here. I didn't get that one very clean, but yeah, if you know how to knee knock, you can do that trick 100%. All right, then the last trick I want to cover in this video is what you saw in the thumbnail, which is no-handers. Now, no-handers is not an easy trick because you have to relearn how to wheelie basically on a foot brake. Personally, it was very easy for me. I don't know why, I just caught on quick. It took me 3 days to get no-handers down from the day I got my foot brake to the day I can no-hand. I don't know why, but it just wasn't very hard. It's very simple. This isn't a video on how to wheelie with foot brake, so I'm not gonna go over how to do that, but it's basically just the same thing as wheeling with handbrake. On to learning no-handers. Many people think that when you're like doing no-handers and using foot brake, you have to press down very hard. You don't, depending on your foot brake, I guess. My foot brake, I have a factory ZV2 Ultra B foot brake. You press down very lightly because it's more of a glide into a no-hander. It's not like you're dropping back for a no-hander. You're kind of like gliding, like right at balance point. That's what I do at least. All right, so I'm gonna show you one real quick and kind of explain it as I go. Pop it up. I get like right to balance point. I have my foot locked and I'm letting my hands kind of like lose the gravity in them, if that makes sense. So I just kind of wheelie until my hands feel like they're floating on the bike. And another thing you want to make sure you're doing is you want to keep your bars completely straight, and then you want to be like wheeling at balance point and barely tapping your foot brake, just like a tiny little bit. So just to keep you from going too far back. And then honestly, when you feel like you're floating, that's just when you take those hands off, and then you're just coasting in a no-hander. That one was all right, I guess, but I didn't keep the wheel up. Anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I have a really hard time finding out like what videos you guys want to see. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.